What's up everyone, this is Tony with JRNYcrypto. In this video we're going to be talking about the cryptocurrency markets and where we're headed in the short term. We're also going to go over some of the infrastructure build news and what's to come with that, and if that will cause a market crash and when that would happen, as well as some other huge news that's huge steps towards mass adoption for the crypto space. So before we get started, I do appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell to be notified for my daily crypto videos. Alright guys, so the cryptocurrency space is looking pretty good today, continuing on a steady climb, even with some bad news with the infrastructure bill. So I'm going to talk about that and my expectations with that and why I think we're in the clear at least for a month or so. So we did have Bitcoin break $46,000, which is pretty huge. I'm going to go over the price of Bitcoin and the next resistance levels. Ethereum holding above $3,100. We now have 20,000 Ethereum burned after the Ethereum London hard fork, which is a massive amount in a short period of time. So over time, this is going to have a huge effect on the network, especially as DeFi, NFTs, and all of these things built on the Ethereum network become more popular. So the Ethereum network continues to pick up in volume, which is huge. If you guys check the 24-hour volume, we do have Ethereum at 31 billion and Bitcoin at 38 billion. We do have Ethereum's current market cap closing in on 400 billion, while we have Bitcoin's closing in on 900 billion. So a lot of people that are claiming that Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. I don't think that will happen anytime soon. If it does, I do think that would take at least another few years. But regardless, this is very possible, and this could happen when we least expect it as well, depending on the use case for the Ethereum network and how fast ETH2 is rolled out as well. We do have multiple phases of Ethereum 2 coming. So we do have Cardano smart contracts coming very soon, and we do have the current price of ADA hovering around $1.50. I'm going to do an entire separate video at some point in the next week on the Cardano blockchain, the ecosystem of projects building on the Cardano blockchain, as well as my price expectations for ADA in the short to midterm here. So that will be coming at some point in the next week. I'm still bullish on Chainlink as well for the short to midterm, and still holding out on my Litecoin, which is actually up around 12% today, past $160 again. I'm finally in profit on my Litecoin again. So we have other altcoins starting to rise, like Internet Computer ICP up 17% today, 65% on the 7-day. This crashed to under $30, and this actually launched around the peak of the market mid-May, and it did peak out over $700 very briefly on Coinbase and other exchanges, and then was on a steady decline, bottoming out under $30 in a very short period of time. Pretty crazy how much that dropped. So I was actually considering buying some of that just because of the opportunity with how much it bottomed out, and I definitely should have. But regardless, I've been doing great in the NFT space, and I have gotten into some good small cap altcoins as well that are starting to move. So I will be doing some updates on small cap altcoins coming up, also ones that I am bullish on. If the market does start recovering and we do break previous all-time highs, some of these small cap altcoins with huge things coming up, huge partnerships, adding new utility, and doing it mainnet launches, I think are going to have massive return on investment. All right, guys, so looking at Bitcoin on the charts, we do have major resistance coming up at $47,500, as well as even bigger resistance around $50,000 Bitcoin. I do think it's very possible Bitcoin does test $50,000 at some point in August. But we also have to keep in mind these looming regulations, as well as this many green days in a row since around July 20th here. So a market correction would definitely be healthy and expected in my opinion. But from where things are at with this infrastructure bill, I do think it's very possible we do test $50,000 at some point in August, because I don't think this is actually going to be getting anywhere anytime soon. So with Bitcoin breaking $45,000 now, this pretty much does confirm what we have broken out of the Wyckoff accumulation. If we do check the Wyckoff accumulation schematic here, look how similar this actually played out. A crash from all-time highs here, down and testing major resistance levels 3 times, and then a steady decline to the spring here before we have a huge upward movement, breaking the major resistance level for the first time within the schematic, moving sideways for a little bit before breaking upwards again. And this pretty much plays out exactly the same, as you guys can see, dropping from Bitcoin all-time highs, testing major resistance here 3 times, having a slow decline to the spring here, and then shooting upwards breaking major resistance here, touching $42,000, having a correction into resistance again, and then breaking outwards above $42,000 and now above $45,000. So this actually played out extremely accurately to the Wyckoff accumulation schematic. I did expect us to be going sideways here for at least another couple weeks though, and we did break out above $42,000 here again, quicker than I expected, especially during that infrastructure bill. And we did get some bad news with that, but of course that's going to take time to play out before it's actually finalized. So we are going to get into some news with that, but I do think things are going to be looking good here towards the end of August regardless. A lot of bears do think this is currently a bull trap though, and that we are going to be crashing back down back to around the low major support levels here of around $30,000. But I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon if it does, and I do think we're in the clear at least for a month here. So another thing I did want to point out as well before we jump into that news, here on etherchain.org we can see how much ETH is being burned in real time. We now have a total of 20,000 Ethereum that has been burned since the Ethereum London hard fork went live just a few days ago, and we currently have a estimated amount of 3 Ethereum being burned per minute still, which is pretty huge. With the price of Ethereum over $3,000, that's over $9,000 per minute worth of Ethereum being burned. And as you guys know, with the price of Ethereum going up, that's just more value that's being burned every single day. So this is very bullish. And another thing I did want to point out as well is the current volume of this Ethereum being burned is actually coming from the NFT space. NFTs are now leading the ETH burn. As you guys can see, OpenSea contributing 1,500 Ethereum to that burn over the past 7 days. With all that NFT hype and so much volume going through NFTs right now, a lot of that is being burned with each transaction, as well as Uniswap here with 1,000 ETH being burned. Next up, Axie Infinity, which is crazy because that's just one game. 830 Ethereum burned. Tether 650 Ethereum burned. So I do want to give you guys a quick warning about NFTs. The NFT space is being so hyped up right now that a lot of scams will be coming to the space. So you do have to be very careful what projects you participate in. Just because you participate during the mint of a project does not mean you're going to make profit there. And if you don't understand collectibles and NFTs, then I definitely recommend looking into that and getting a better understanding on that before you just FOMO into some of these new projects. And for most people, it may be better to even buy into a current project that's already live, even if the price floor is much higher than minting a new project, because some of these good projects will continue climbing in value in the very long term, but a lot of these projects will just completely disappear and you will never be able to sell that NFT back. So just keep that in mind. The NFT space is in a mania phase right now that may continue for the next couple of months, but we will see a lot of scams coming to the space just because they can make so much money in a very short period of time without having much experience. All right, guys, so I'm going to go through some of this infrastructure build news. There's been a lot happening with this, and it has been hard to keep up on top of this since I've been so busy, but I am going to give you guys my opinion on this and where we're at and my expectations. So even going through this with some bad news in the past day, cryptocurrency prices have been on a steady rise, which I think is pretty crazy because previously any bad news with tax laws or even discussion of something that could be bad for crypto has caused temporary panic and temporary dips in the market. So we continue climbing here even through this. Bitcoin breaking $46,000. Pretty crazy in my opinion, and I think this is definitely a great sign, especially because we're entering a phase here where I do believe things are going to get quiet with the infrastructure bill news for at least a month. So we have breaking: US lawmakers behind crypto amendment to infrastructure bill introduce compromise. The new compromise amendment could still be added to HR 3684 through unanimous consent request, provided no senators object. And unfortunately, we did have a senator object here. And I do recommend you guys follow Jake Stravinsky here on Twitter. He is a crypto lawyer, and he definitely has some great information about cryptocurrencies that he posts about often. He does cover a lot of this news as it happens. So he posted, Senator Richard Shelby has objected to the compromise amendment. He didn't get his own amendment for $50 billion in defense spending, so he's against all others. Unless he changes his mind, that's it. The compromise amendment is dead. FYI, he's retiring at the end of this term, which is just ridiculous in my opinion. So this was definitely a step in the wrong direction with the infrastructure bill, but regardless, the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are holding today, and this isn't over yet, and I do think this is going to take some time to play out. This vote now has to go back to the House before it goes to the president's desk. So in between there, since they are in recess, there is going to be over a month period where we're probably not going to hear too much, and we do have opportunity to voice our opinions. And we do have Senator Loomis here that did comment on Twitter. We will continue to look for ways to fix the digital asset language in this bill. It might not be today, but we won't give up. And we do have a lot of people here on Twitter voicing their opinions and trying to fight for this. So I will keep you guys updated on this. But right now, I do think we're going to be in a phase where things are going to get quiet for the short term. And I do think cryptocurrency can continue climbing in the meantime. And it's definitely possible Bitcoin does test $50,000 by the end of August. I'm not saying that's guaranteed, but I do think it's more likely than not the way things are looking. We keep getting huge news and push towards mass adoption as well, regardless of what's going on with regulations and tax laws. And keep in mind, the sooner we get regulations out of the way, the better, and the sooner we can really get the next leg up. So before we end the video, some breaking news. AMC theaters to accept Bitcoin for movie tickets and concessions starting in 2021. Another huge step towards mass adoption. The more companies we get accepting crypto as payment, the better. And I do believe this is becoming a trend here. We do have major payment processors working on crypto services as well, like Visa and MasterCard. And we do have some crypto related debit and credit cards being created. So lots of huge things happening, and adoption is building every single day. Even with the prices fluctuating, everyone continues working and pushing for mass adoption. So things are really building up here. I wouldn't be surprised to see AMC acquire Bitcoin to hold on their balance sheet as well. Making a move like this, showing support like this does show they believe in it. So why wouldn't they buy a lot to hold on their balance sheet if they're just going to have that money sitting in the bank? Anyways, losing purchasing power to inflation. So a small allocation would make sense to me, just 5% or something, which for major companies like this could be $1 billion or more. So by end of year, we could have another country or two that's accepting Bitcoin as legal tender, as well as another couple countries that have acquired Bitcoin to hold on their balance sheet. I wouldn't be surprised of that. And just a couple more countries and a couple more companies doing this, I think, is what we need, that push to get over a 100,000 Bitcoin, breaking previous all-time highs. I do think that's very possible and likely by the end of 2021. So I'm still bullish on crypto in general for the long term. I always have been. And I know there's going to be market crashes in between, and any really bad breaking news can really cause mass panic at any point. Manipulation is at play as well, which is why for those that really don't have time to be watching the markets constantly and be day trading, doing dollar cost averaging and buying major dips, and just having a very long-term strategy like this for 5 to 10 years out, those people are going to do extremely well like that, in my opinion, because we pretty much have a guaranteed bull market every 4 years. For the Bitcoin halvings, as well as Bitcoin becomes more scarce and demand is rising, mass adoption is picking up. That only means the price of Bitcoin will be going up in the long term, which is why Senator Loomis here has stated buy Bitcoin for retirement, which I definitely agree with. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys found it useful. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I do appreciate if you guys like the video, and share this video with anyone else that may find it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to get notified for my daily crypto videos. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.